AITA for refusing to financially help my family after they abandoned me even if it means they'll end up homeless. I am my mother's oldest biological child. When I was 5, my father passed away, and she remarried my stepdad when I was 8. When I was 9, I was sent away to live with my father's sister, who lived states away because her husband didn't want me to live there anymore. They used to pay my aunt some money to watch me, but when I was 14, that stopped. My aunt and uncle worked low-paying jobs and had 2 of their own children, so they really couldn't afford the extra expense of having me around without that help. Despite that, they let me stay and continued to treat me like one of their own. I very rarely saw my mom. I think I saw her 5 times between 9 and 18. She never even called. She went on to have 3 more children, 19M, 18F, and 16M, with my stepdad. Growing up, I used to stalk my siblings and parents on social media to see what their life was like, and it was polar opposite to mine. They regularly went on expensive vacations, lived in a massive house, and owned the latest gadgets, etc. I went to college and got married at 23. My mother/siblings have no idea I'm married. I'm currently 28 and doing well financially. My husband and I own our own home. We have several very profitable investments and work high-paying jobs. My cousins, 30F and 27F, and I all contributed to help my aunt/uncle to finally purchase their own home last year. Recently, my mom showed up to my aunt's house begging for financial help. Apparently, my stepdad suffered from a gambling addiction a few years ago and lost all their savings. Now with COVID, he's lost his job and they can't afford to keep their house without help. My aunt explained she didn't have any money to help her, and when my mother demanded to know how she could afford her new house if she had no money, she explained what me and my cousins had done. My mom then asked for my number. When she called me and explained the situation, I told her I couldn't help. She kept begging me and claimed my siblings would be made homeless if I didn't help them. I told her maybe she should sell some of their fancy stuff or they could all get jobs like my cousins and I had to. I hung up before she could reply. Since then, I have been receiving message after message from my mom, my siblings, and even my stepdad begging me for help. I have never spoken to my siblings in my life. They've begun harassing my husband and my SIL. They've also reached out to my aunt and cousins multiple times, trying to get them to convince me to change my mind. I'm so angry with them all. They threw me away, and when they need something, they come crawling back. But the guilt is also starting to set in, and I don't know if I'm being in. Am I? Story 2. I'm 27F, struggling with how my social life changed over the last years and unsure how to fix it. So, I'm probably not the only one who hasn't loved their social life over the last roughly 15 years. March. Last year, my social life was looking pretty good. I had joined a new company a few months before, and the employees were all very social and cool. We got along great with many team events, parties, hanging out together after work, etc. There was even talk of going on vacation with some of them in the winter. Well, that obviously didn't work out. Since then, we have all been on home office 100%. There was an attempt to do online team events and stuff early on, but it has pretty much faded out. Due to not meeting in person anymore, those new contacts kind of faded out, and some of the coworkers I was hoping to become friends with left for other teams or their home countries. I do enjoy the benefits of home office, but I would like to still socialize at least sometimes with my coworkers. We are now at a point where we can work back in the office again if we want, but the vast majority seems very happy to just continue home office for the most part. So there are only 1 or 2 people of my team in the office at any given time, and there is basically no events or any afterwork stuff. The social spirit seems to have mostly died off, with seemingly no one interested to bring it back. In general, I thought most people would be eager to meet in real life again and party as soon as it's possible. Everyone was talking about it, but by now most seem to have settled into this staying-at-home routine instead. At most, they want to play games online, but I'm so sick of that. Maybe that's just the people I know. We're all vaccinated, and I don't think it's just because of infection risk concerns. And it's not like I'm a huge party animal or anything. I just like relaxed socializing over a beer sometimes! I also used to have a pen and paper group, and we would meet in person whenever it was currently legal, but early this year it fell apart because the DM said he didn't want to continue in contact, just completely stopped. Now, it wasn't like we had been super close or anything, but that was one more social group lost. I then started another D&D group with some coworkers. We can play only online, however, and it is currently on pause due to the DM being too busy. I also used to have a best friend of many years, and we still met in person a few times throughout. But I'm pretty sure he is currently trying to fade out our friendship/ghost me, as I haven't heard from him in months at this point, and our last interactions were all initiated by me, and I don't want to bother him if he doesn't feel like hanging out anymore. So basically, at the moment I have no friends, a few friendly acquaintances at best, and no regular socializing. I live alone, which I normally like a lot, but not if I sit at home all day with no socializing almost every day. Now, I do keep myself busy, I have pets, go outside, have hobbies, etc. But almost all my hobbies are solitary stuff, like writing, reading, etc. I do also get some online social stuff, but it doesn't do much for me. It's better than nothing, but not close to the real-life stuff. I assume I have to try and find new friends somehow. Currently, that is still a bit difficult, because most things are not open or only limited. Most stuff on Meetup is only online, etc. I have even tried to reconnect to old friends I haven't seen in years. Not just PC, I'm lonely right now. I had wanted to meet back up with them for some time, and that worked out and was great, but we live far apart, so it's not going to be a frequent thing. I don't have the easiest time making friendships anyway. I generally get along with people in a group and seem well-liked enough, but actual deeper friendships don't usually happen, not entirely sure why. I'm not sure what I'm asking. Is this how it's going for you too? Anyone struggling with the same? Do you think people are just kinda in the pandemic spirit and will become more willing to meet in person again when things improve? Any tips till doctor? Pandemic and home office have made my social life almost non-existent. Not sure if that's a common experience and what to do about it. Story 3. I 30F, can't afford the life I want in Los Angeles, but don't know where else to go. I've lived in LA for 8 years, and I truly love living here. I have great friends, the weather is perfect, and I work in the film industry, which is based here. However, at 30, I'm only making about $55K a year. I should be much higher up in my industry, but I got over with promotions and growth partly due to the pandemic, and haven't been able to take the next step in my career after aggressively job hunting for the past 8 months, and it's taken a huge beating on my self-esteem and mental health, especially since the people I started out with have almost all gone on to promotions, while I'm stuck at the bottom. I'm tired of living with roommates and budgeting aggressively just to afford groceries every month. I'm stressed about money all the time. I don't know how I'll ever afford a house here, especially since I'm still single and only have my small income. Honestly, half of why I want a partner at this point in my life is for combined finances. So, I think I'm ready to bite the bullet and give up LA and working in television to have more income, and hope to transition into tech marketing, or something a little more profitable. Whatever will hire me, if anywhere will hire me, since I've spent the last decade in an industry that might not translate to other roles. Problem is, I don't know where else in the country to go. All the people I know are either in LA or the Bay Area where I'm from, which is even more unaffordable. There's no where else I'm particularly interested or excited to move to, but this life in LA just doesn't seem sustainable. I'm so anxious and depressed thinking how I'll be renting and living with roommates, barely making ends meet until I die if I stay in LA. Any tips on where else to go? I'd like to live somewhere with nice weather, liberal educated nice people, ideally cultural happenings, and some singles on the off chance I can actually find a partner. Everything just totally sucks. TLDR. Couldn't hack it in LA, not sure where else to go or what to do.